Welcome back to another video, guys. I'm going to be breaking down in this video exactly how to master the Instagram algorithm. There's specific things you can do to make sure your content gets pushed out by the Instagram algorithm. Now, the algorithm's always changing, and in 2026, it's a lot different than it used to be. And I've been posting on Instagram theme pages for 10 years now, and I've seen every single algorithm before this one, and this one specifically is one of the easiest to go viral on. And if you can reverse engineer and understand how the algorithm works, you can then create content that is more likely to go viral. A lot of people message me, a lot of people reach out to me and say that they think that they're shadow banned or their content's not getting pushed out. When 9 times out of 10, it's just because they're not creating good enough content. So let's dive into my computer right now and let's walk through exactly what I'm going to be talking about today. Sit down, take notes, and lock in. And if you follow these things step by step and keep these things in the back of your mind as you're creating content, I promise you, you'll hit the explore page more often than not. So we're going to be talking about how the Instagram algorithm actually works. Most people do not have an algorithm problem. In fact, 99.9% of people do not have an algorithm problem. They have a content problem. And what do I mean by this? Unless you have strikes, bans, you've gone against the guidelines, whatever, you would have been notified. And if that's the case, you might be getting a little bit of suppression on your account. If you've had a bunch of posts taken down recently, whatever, you might have your account slightly suppressed. But this usually only lasts for a week to at max a month, right? In the past, I've had accounts that have been quote unquote shadow banned, content was taken down, whatever, across various niches. This happens, but it doesn't last for longer than a month. And as long as you're consistently putting out good content after that, you're good. But from 99% of you guys watching, if your content's not getting pushed out, it's not because of this. It's just because you're not putting out good enough content. And we're going to get into exactly what I mean by that. And like I said, it doesn't have to be super extremely high quality stuff. You just have to be reverse engineering the algorithm. So the algorithm is not your enemy. It's just a filter. The algorithm's job is to filter out content and push out what is best for the platform. Every single post is a test. It's not a guarantee. You can have 1 million followers. You can have 10 million followers. You could be Kylie Jenner, whatever. Your content is not guaranteed to go viral. Just because you have a very high trustworthy account, just because you have a lot of followers, just because you put out a lot of viral content in the past, it doesn't mean every single post is guaranteed to go viral. Now, understand that as your accounts grow, as you put out good content over time, your trust score does increase. My pages, the trust score is very high, meaning we could put out the same piece of content, me and you, and mine might reach larger audience just because Instagram doesn't have to put it through all the filters that it puts through on an account that's brand new or an account that hasn't gone viral very often. Now, understand watch time is the foundation of everything. We'll be diving into that. The first seconds of a post, whether it's a reel, carousel, whatever, matter. Most creators make one big mistake, and that is explanation too early. Retention is really about momentum. Replays are underrated. Shares are the real growth lever, and not every viral post gets followers, and that matters. Now, understand the ultimate goal of the algorithm. So, before we dive into this, before I tell you a little bit about myself, I want you to pull out a notepad. I want you to write down notes on all of these things. We're going to dive in depth to every single one of these bullet points here. And I need you guys to actually apply this stuff, right? This is all you need to go viral. This is all you need to grow your followers to 1 million followers. This is all that you need, but you need to be writing it down. You need to be applying it. And if you have questions after that, you need to be reaching out to me with questions. So why listen to me? My name is Drew. I've taken Instagram theme pages full time. One of my bigger pages is right here in the sports niche. One of my most profitable pages, excuse me. We're over 300,000 followers now. Take a look here. We do about 40 to 100 million views a month, and that's majority from carousels. We don't post too many reels anymore. Right here, you can see we get paid from the bonus program. So this is within 15 days. We got over $1,500. This is just from posts, not including brand deals. And majority of the money is made with brand deals and affiliate deals. As you can see here, we also get paid over on TikTok. So we're blasting every single platform. We're cross-posting on everything. We're getting paid on all platforms at this point. And you can see here, this is $800 for one video that got 300,000 views. Here's another 15 days, $1,700. Here's a $3,500 a month brand deal that we landed for various months in a row. As you can see here, this is a $5,000 brand deal on this page, guys. Some of you guys come to me with 1 million followers and you're making like $100 a month. It's because your process and your systems aren't locked in. As you can see here, this video made me $2,000. This video was a minute-long video. It took me about 10 minutes to make, and it's made me over $3,000 at this point. This screenshot is a little bit old, but people come to me, can you really make money from theme pages? Can you really make money from theme pages? Yes, 100%. Your favorite influencer is making money through content, through brand deals, through influencing people, whatever. And no one questions that. But when it comes to theme pages, when it comes to pulling even more views, whatever, yes, I understand the influencer levels. If you're an influencer, if you are the president, whatever, you have influence over people, sure. But if you have an audience and you know how to push that audience to do certain things, you know how to get them to download apps, you know how to do whatever, you're putting out good content that actually provides value, you can sell just as much with an Instagram theme page as someone that's an influencer. So if they're making money, I promise you, you can make money too. And the best part about this, you can build the page up, hire it out completely, like I have, to where I don't really do too much on the content end anymore. I just funnel in the brand deals and we get paid that way. So understand that. I've helped a bunch of different people out, whether they were at 0 followers, growing their page to 500,000, whether they were at 100,000 followers and did not have their page monetized, whatever it is, wherever you're at amongst your journey, I can help you out. I made my first $10,000 online while still in college with theme pages, while working an internship, while working another job, doing everything while going to class, etc. You can do this. You don't have to have 10 hours a day to run a theme page, guys. You just need to be putting out good quality content. Once you get your systems down, it doesn't take as much time anymore. And understand, I've helped a bunch of people scale to 100,000 plus followers. I've helped people reach thousands of dollars a month. I've helped people increase their engagement, whatever it is. I've been running theme pages for 10 years now. I started a theme page before I even started my own personal Instagram. It was my first account on Instagram. This is what I've done my entire life, and I can help you do the same thing. So now that you know I'm not just making stuff up, let's dive into this algorithm. Let's dive into exactly how it works. And before we get into this information, guys, if you can master this stuff and think about this every time you create a piece of content, you can then reverse engineer your content, take it through this checklist, make sure all these things apply, and your content's going to perform super well. So most people don't have an algorithm problem, they have a content problem. If your content was actually holding attention, Instagram would push it out. It's that simple. Understand that Instagram's job, their whole entire business model, is to keep people's attention on their platform so that they can sell ads to those people, right? So every single person has literally made a profile for advertisers, right? Your Instagram profile says something about you. It knows how old you are, etc. It knows who you are, so that way it can feed ads to you. So if you spend a minute on Instagram, they can feed less ads to you than if you spend 10 hours on Instagram a day, right? So their goal, and they're competing against TikTok, they're competing against all the other platforms, Snapchat, YouTube, whatever, to hold people on their page. So if you put out content that can hold people on the piece of content, you are going to get paid as well. And Instagram is going to love your account. That's the bread and butter of this entire presentation here, is holding people onto your holding people onto your account, holding people onto your content. Can you grab attention? Yes or no? And if your content is not performing, I promise you it's because you are not holding people's attention. It's that simple. So throughout this entire presentation, keep that in mind. The algorithm doesn't know who you are. It only reacts to how people behave on your post, right? So more and more and more as time goes on, social media has gone from a very much profile-based system to where if you have 1 million followers, your content is being shown to 500,000 of those followers every time you post, and it has a lot to do with your follower count. That's how it used to be. Now in 2026, it's transitioning from a platform to where people with 0 followers are going to struggle to get reach, to more so a platform where people with small follower counts will get pushed out more often. So understand, if you have 1 million followers, your content's still probably getting pushed out to majority non-followers. So Instagram doesn't really care about your profile too much anymore. It cares more so about each individual piece of content. Understand that. This all happened when TikTok started to blow up. TikTok tested this initially, right? TikTok knew if we can have a bunch of new users coming in, we will conquer the social media space. And that's exactly what they did. So the way they did that was by getting a bunch of brand new pages, right? People that were just posting for the first time to go viral. So that way, everyone knew if you posted on TikTok about a year ago, your first, second, third, fourth, fifth video, one of those will get at least 10,000, 20,000 views, right? As long as you're not just posting like a black screen. And TikTok did this intentionally to try to get new people to create content, to try to get UGC content, etc., and to try to hold people on their platform. Now that has shifted to every single platform. So if you have 1 million followers or you have 10 followers, you still have the chance to reach the same amount of people. And with that being said, for those of you guys that are watching that are under 50,000 followers, now is a prime time for you guys to grow your pages, for you guys to put out content because you're at the most, this is the most advantage you've ever had as a small creator. And if you're a big page, if you have 300,000 followers like me, 500K, whatever, you're good because your content's still getting views. It's actually easier to grow now because you're getting pushed out to a lot of non-followers. You just have to know how to convert those people. So low views usually equals people didn't watch long enough or didn't care enough to engage. So understand, once again, holding people on the account, holding people on your post, excuse me, right? So if you're getting low views, it's because people scrolled by, it's because people didn't pay attention. So you need to focus on holding them on there, whether it's through captions, through comments, through on text, hooks, through whatever you're saying in your videos, through how many slides you're posting on your carousels, whatever, everything matters. Blaming the algorithm is the most comfortable thing to do, right? If I post for a week and my engagement tanks, it's easier for me to just be like, oh, it's just the algorithm's against me this week. But that stops you from improving on what actually matters, right? So you need to understand that your worst weeks should be your best weeks as far as making improvements and learning, right? When I have weeks where my content doesn't perform very well, we sit down, we analyze it, what went wrong, why did we not perform well, and we fix it. And that's how you constantly raise the bar on your content. That's how you constantly raise the content floor. Your worst performing post should consistently get better. So the algorithm is not your enemy. It's just simply a filter. So think of Instagram almost like a gatekeeper. It doesn't hate your page. It's just filtering out what deserves attention and what doesn't. So you post 100 pieces of content. Every single one of those pieces of content goes through this filtration system. It says, okay, who would enjoy this content, whatever, whatever. And the way it does that is by putting it out to a certain amount of people. So when you first post something, right, you can go post on Instagram right now. What's going to happen? That piece of content is going to get fed to 100 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people. And they're going to say, okay, how did they react? Did they like this post? Whatever. And understand it gets fed to those people that like your account the most first. So if you're a page with 1 million followers, you've had people that have followed you for a long time. Those people that have followed you for a long time, that have engaged with your content consistently, commented on your content, those people that are super fans of your account, they really enjoy your content, they're the people that it gets fed to first. Because Instagram knows if those people don't like the post, no one's probably going to like the post. So they feed it out to your super fans, maybe to some of your new followers, whatever, just whoever testing it out. If it does well, it gets pushed to more people, does well, next pool, next pool, next pool, until eventually it's getting pushed to everyone on the platform. Now understand, you need to constantly ask yourself, should we show this, or excuse me, the algorithm is constantly asking, should we show this to more people or should we not? And it's doing that through tests, right? So if it puts it out to 5,000 people and it only gets 10 likes, it's going to die. Your post is going to die. So it rewards content that keeps people on the app, and it doesn't really matter about your profile, like I said. So just because you have 1 million followers, if you're putting out bad content suddenly, it's just not going to work. When you see pages that are dead, when you see pages that it's obvious have been sold to someone else, right? So you have a 1 million follower page, you sell it to someone that doesn't really know what they're doing with content. Oftentimes their engagement will just drop super low because they start putting out bad quality content. Once you understand this, you stop guessing and you start creating with intent. So how do you create with intent? Well, every single post is a test. It's not a guarantee. So this is a good thing, in my opinion. This is a positive, right? Because you can learn from your failures. So the moment you post, Instagram runs a small test, your content is on a trial, and now they literally have trial reels because this is exactly how it works. You're posting to your followers, or you are not posting to your followers, you are posting to a test group first, like I just said, and if it performs well, it earns more reach. If not, it dies early. So understand, the reason they release trial reels is because if non-followers are interacting with your posts, that means it's an even better piece of content, right? Like I said, if you're on your personal page and you post something, your friends are probably going to interact with it no matter what the content is, right? As long as you're in it because they're your friend, family, whatever, you posted it, they like you. Same thing with the influencer, right? If Justin Bieber puts something out, it could be a black screen. It's going to get more likes and comments than if I put out a black screen, right? Because it's Justin Bieber. But understand, if Justin Bieber posts something in his trial reels and it pushes it out to a bunch of people that don't know who Justin Bieber is, Justin Bieber is a bad example because he's such a massive celebrity, but take a influencer with 500K, right? If they put something in their trial reels and it pushes it out to a bunch of people that don't follow that influencer and it performs very well, that means that the content is just good, right? People, their fans, their family, whatever, aren't liking the posts. This is all brand new people. If random brand new people that don't have any connection to the influencer are liking the content or enjoying the content, chances are that means it's just a solid piece of content in general. So this is why they came out with trial reels. This is why this whole entire thing is extremely true. It's all a test. Every piece of content's a test. And the more consistent you are, is exactly why consistency matters, because each post is a new opportunity to win, and each post that does bad is still an opportunity to win because it gives you all of the data that you receive from the post. You can dive in, you can look at it, and you can execute, the next time through, and make sure that if you post a reel and it performs very bad and you look at the graph, the retention graph, and people died off early, you can go ahead and look at that hook and understand, okay, this hook didn't work. Let me not ever use that hook again, and let me figure out why it didn't work. So with that being said, watch time is the foundation of everything. And this goes straight back to the very first point of Instagram wants you to keep people on the app. This is why watch time is extremely important. And this is why shares are extremely important, right? Because both of those things keep you on the app. If you watch a 2 minute long video, you stayed on the app for a long time. And if you share it to someone, you're pulling new people, other people, friends, family, group chats, whatever, onto the app that may not have been on the app already. So if people don't stay, nothing else matters. Not likes, not comments. People need to stay on the post, right? So if you post a 2 minute long video and you literally put in the post, like this post and then scroll, don't watch the entire thing, and people are liking the post and scrolling without watching it, it could get up 10,000 likes. It's not going to go to a larger audience because Instagram cares more and ranks watch time above like count and comments, whatever. But if people are commenting on your posts, what does that mean? They stayed on your post for a long time, and and that is included in watch time. So understand that you need people interacting, you need people commenting. Watch time is how Instagram measures, did this content actually hold attention? And the longer that someone stays, the more valuable your content becomes on the platform. This is why if you post stuff that is very emotional, you post stuff that drives debate, drives comments, it's going to usually perform well because people are going to be in your comment section arguing, relating, whatever it is. That's just how it works. And if you have a reel that gets 500 likes and 0 comments, chances are at some point in time that reel is going to die because it's competing against reels that have 500 likes and 50 comments. And no one's ever going to click on the comment section if there's no comments. This is why the comment section is extremely underrated and extremely important. Your job isn't to get views, it's to earn time. Stop worrying about like count, saves, views, whatever. Start worrying about how long people are staying on your post. That number that tells you watch time, 500 days, whatever, that's one of the most important indicators to Instagram. That's why if you can put out a minute long video that people watch twice, I promise you it'll be your best performing video. If you could literally take that, what I said right there, create a minute long video that people are forced to watch all the way through twice just because it's so good or because you're making people, whatever it is, that will be your best performing post of all time. The first 1 to 2 seconds matter more than anything else. And this goes back to, like I said, the very beginning. If people aren't even spending a second on your post, if people are scrolling automatically, it's just Instagram has no incentive to push it out, right? People are scrolling fast and you have to interrupt that pattern immediately. This is why I preach carousels, good quality graphics, good reels, whatever, text hooks. Most people scroll on Instagram with their volume off, so you need to have something visual that appeals to people. If it's just, you talking, it may not work. If you lose them in the first second, the rest of the video just doesn't matter at all. And a good hook creates curiosity, confusion, or it evokes some type of emotion instantly. And every time you create a piece of content, you should be thinking, why would someone stop here? Why would someone stop on my post versus all of the other posts that are going out right now versus all of this other competition? You should ask yourself that before you even post. And keep this entire presentation in mind before you post something and say, am I going to earn someone's attention? Is someone going to literally pay with their mind, with their eyes, their attention on this piece of content? Is it that good? And if it's not, it's probably not going to perform very well. And you can also go back to your best performing posts, your worst performing posts, and ask yourself, why did people not spend time on this post? Could I have done differently? Someone reached out in my DMs the other day talking about, will you check out my account, what's going on? And every single one of their posts had no caption at all. And I said, look, I've looked at your page for 10 seconds and I noticed you don't have any captions. You're competing against people that are putting 3 to 4 paragraph captions that are adding value to the post already. So understand that every time your post is competing against one of theirs, people, at least, even if you get 11,000 views, that's 11,000 people, right? 100 of those people reading the caption is not a long shot at all. That's probably a very low number. So if you have 100 people reading your 4 paragraph long caption, that for all of them is adding 30 seconds of view time to your post. This is why long captions are performing so well on Instagram right now. So understand, all of these little things matter. And if you're a large page like me and your worst performing post reaches 50,000 people, every single one of these little things, captions, comments, shares, all of that matters so much more. So understand, it matters a lot because 50,000 people, right? If you add a caption, well, that's going to automatically boost your post above everyone else. But even if you're a tiny page, right? If you have 1,000 followers and your post reach, 500 people, whatever, it also matters because you need that one post to go viral for you to start to reach people more consistently. So this matters just as much for big creators and small creators, everyone in between. So most creators make one mistake: they explain too early. So once again, going back to the last point of 1 to 2 seconds matter the most, I'll see people, especially with carousels, right? And sometimes with reels, their hook essentially, instead of creating curiosity or evoking some type of emotion, it may do those things, but it also gives away the entire post right off the bat. And if you're giving away the gold of the post, right, in the first 10 seconds, why would I watch the last 50 seconds, right? I might watch another 10 seconds and then maybe another 5 seconds before I'm like, okay, I already know these things based off of the hook. So keep that in mind. If you give context before you create curiosity, understand it's going to kill your retention. And instead of pulling people in, these people are immediately satisfying the question. So maybe you pull them in and then you give them the answer. For example, I'm trying to think of a post here, and I should have put an example on this presentation, but if someone posts something about Ronaldo, for example, they want to make a post about Ronaldo being the highest paid athlete of all time. And your hook could be, Ronaldo just became one of the highest paid players of all time. That, might be a decent hook. But when I'm looking through this post, I want to learn the actual number of how much she's getting paid, and that in comparison to everyone else. Some people, when they create that post, would say Ronaldo just became the highest paid player of all time with a contract of, $1 billion. And now it's like, okay, I know that he's the highest paid player. I know how much his contract is worth. What else is there to learn in this post? I might swipe one time, read the next slide, and if that's, still not really adding too much, just kind of repeating what was already said, you've lost my attention and I'm scrolling. So the best content delays the payoff just enough to keep people watching. If you have a reel or a carousel, 10 slide carousel, right? Your last slide should be some type of payoff, right? Unless you have a CTA. If you have a CTA, it should be your second to last slide. Should have that payoff, should have that feeling of, I'm glad I stayed to the end, for two reasons. Number one being your post won't perform well if you don't. And number two being, if you can start to condition your followers into thinking, if I swipe all the way through this 10 slide carousel on this page on Daily Athlete, it always gives me something that I'm always learning something new. I'm always getting something interesting out of this post. They're going to continue to do that. If you are someone, that every time you post, your headline gives away everything, your followers are going to become less and less conditioned to swipe through your post. And if you are a big account, this matters a lot because they remember your logo, they remember your comment section, they remember everything about your page. And if you're consistently giving them everything in the beginning, they're going to eventually not get shown your post anymore because they're done swiping to the end. So you want people thinking, wait, what is this? Not, oh, I get this. So when they see your post, you want them to be like, wait, what is this person trying to tell me? You want them to be curious, and then you give them everything at the end. If you give it all to them at the very beginning, chances are they're going to swipe. So that brings me to my next point of retention is really about momentum. Good videos feel like they're always moving, no dead space. Every second should push the viewer forward into the next. This applies for carousels as well. And if there's a moment where nothing is happening, people are going to leave. And momentum, is quick cuts, strong pacing, and constant progression. And this applies to reels. This also applies to carousels. If you have a 10 slide carousel, at least 8 of those slides need to be very good and need to be pushing people to the next slide. Swipe incentives, right? Each slide should it should lead them into the next slide, and it should leave them thinking about, you know, what am I missing? Like, I want to learn more. Like, this is intriguing, this is interesting, whatever. This is also why I tell you guys it's better to put out 2 pieces of very high quality content than 10 pieces of mediocre to bad content. Because if you can find those 2 very interesting stories each day, not only will your engagement rate be very high, your follower conversion rate will be very high, and everyone will continue to come back to your post each day. Replays are extremely underrated. I discussed this a little bit earlier, but if someone watches your video twice, it's double the watch time, and this is a golden indicator to Instagram that your content is good. The best content makes people feel like they missed something. You need them to feel like they're missing something until the very end, and fast pacing, layered info, or surprising endings all drive replays. There's a little trick you can also add in, which I'm sure you've seen, is an invisible loop, meaning the end of the video connects to the very beginning of the video. And if you can do this properly, you can't do this with carousels, unfortunately, but if you can do this properly with your reels, it's going to drive your watch time from maybe 80% to 110%, right? If you need, Logan Paul is someone that does this very well on a lot of his reels that have performed extremely well because he's doing an invisible loop. He's making people continue to watch to the beginning. So if you need some good examples, go check that out. But understand, replays are a signal that your content is actually engaging, not just clicked. If you can get people to watch something twice, I mean, it's just the number one indicator that something's very good. Just like if you can get people to share something, it's an amazing indicator that something's good because it's making people take that extra step and be like, oh, I want to send this to people. Oh, I want to show this to people. This is why, you'll see whenever you're looking at the best performing content with the most reels, it's always something that you almost want to show someone else. It's always something that maybe you missed something in the video you want to watch back. This is all the most engaging content on Instagram and really on any platform because it's giving those extra indicators to the platform that this post is making people react in a way that a typical piece of content wouldn't. And whenever you can do stuff like that, whenever you can post stuff like that, that's the type of content that will just blow up right off the bat, right? It won't be the type of content that goes viral a week later. It's just gonna take off, because if people are watching something twice, it's game over. Now diving into shares, this is a real growth lever. There's 4 different types of reactions that get people to share stuff. If someone feels like this is me, meaning this is relatable content, I feel like I'm, this type of person, most likely they have a friend that's probably similar to them. They'll send it over to them. Relatable content people send to describe themselves. This is you, is content that causes people to call out their friends. Did you know this? Surprising or interesting info. We talked about interesting content earlier. Bro, look at this, meaning they want to send it to their group chat. They want to, it's shocking, crazy, entertaining moments, viral moments, whatever. They want to share it to their group chat. And if you are a news type of page, you post quick news stuff, the last one is going to be very important, right? If you can post viral trending news before everyone else, it's going to get shared like crazy. But also, if you're posting viral trending news late, meaning everyone's already heard about it, it'll actually hurt your page. It'll hurt that post, because no one's going to share something that everyone's already heard about, right? Not every viral post gets followers, and that matters. Going viral doesn't automatically mean you're building an audience. If your content isn't aligned within your niche, isn't aligned with your niche, people won't follow. So if I have people that message me that are a wealth page, a business page, and they post funny content, understand that if you're doing this because the page at wealth is doing it, the page at wealth has almost maxed out on their follower count within the wealth niche. So if they only posted about wealth, chances are they would probably lose followers. So at this point in time, as a page with 20 million followers or however many they have to start posting general content, because number one, advertisers will see that they're getting billions of views a month and want to pay more money. But also number two, that's the only way they're going to gain followers at this point in time. If you have 50,000 followers and you're in the wealth niche, you haven't hit all the people that are interested in wealth. Stick to your niche and convert those followers. If someone's interested in wealth content, they see one of your posts that goes viral that's wealth content, they click on your page, and it's comedy, funny content, random viral content, they probably won't convert. You want views that convert, not just views that spike. Unless you're watching this and you have 20 million followers, which I assume most of you do not, your goal should be to get views that convert. The goal is not just reach, it's relevant reach. The goal is not to beat the algorithm, it is to become predictable to it. Every single piece of content you put out is affected, it affects your account. You have a trust score. If you consistently are putting out viral content, like I said in the beginning, your account's trusted a little bit more by Instagram, meaning that you kind of have a little bit of leeway, right? You can put out bad content, sometimes you'll be good. If you're a brand new account and you start posting just a bunch of black screenshots of nothing that never performs, and you do that for a month straight, your account's going to, then you might actually be looking at a shadow ban, because Instagram's trust score on your page is down to nothing. But the good news is you can always improve and increase your trust score just by putting out better content. When your content consistently performs, Instagram starts to trust you. That's when growth becomes repeatable and not random. If you're putting out good content for a year straight, growth is going to come naturally. You're training the algorithm what your content does well, and the goal isn't to just have one viral post, it's to have a system that works over and over again. And that should be the goal for all of you. And if you take all the notes from this presentation, actually apply them every single time you post, you're going to be just fine. You're going to hit the algorithm. The algorithm is going to favor your account consistently. And at the end of the day, people are going to be spending more time on your page and on your post. And that's all that matters. And if you're someone that's struggling with any of these things, you're someone that's struggling with monetization, struggling with brand deals, struggling with any of this growth, whatever, click the first link down below. It's a completely free call with me one-on-one, and I'll look over your pages and see if there's room to work with you one-on-one. And if there is, I'll work with you. I'll help you reach your goals with your Instagram theme page. And if you're someone that needs a little bit more advice, wants to see how I build my pages in real time, click the second link down below. That's a link to my Instagram where I post a bunch of stories every single day, usually 15 to 20 stories a day, walking you through my exact day, my exact step-by-step processes, and any issues that I run into on a day-to-day basis. Thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate you guys sticking to the end. And like I said, if you start to apply this stuff, your page could go from dead, suppressed, whatever you want to call it, to performing extremely well. Thank you guys for watching.